And blessed to be with you. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. If you missed it, we've been discussing the multiple crashes that happened last week over, Friday afternoon, where you had traffic being blocked on I-84 near Eagle Road and Meridian. Boy, you talk about the perfect storm. A Friday afternoon, people are trying to get from one place to another, and boom, the traffic is stuck. The traffic is jammed. And you think to yourself, can there be a better way? Can there be a better way of doing things in the Treasure Valley? If you missed last hour, you can always go to KIDOTalkRadio.com, check out Tom's comments concerning where do our taxes go? Where do our taxes and the revenue from that go, right? That's what a lot of us question. And if you're one of the people that are stuck in traffic, if you're one of the people that had to sit for hours and hours and hours, is your philosophy, well, you know something? These things happen. These things are going to happen. We have many people traveling from one part of the state to the other, and essentially traffic accidents happen with big trucks. Now, some people, and again, we haven't heard this here, say, well, perhaps they could have opened up more lanes. They could have been more accommodating. They could have made sure that people weren't stuck. And maybe we blame the computer age. Maybe we blame Amazon, right? Amazon has made us all so impatient. You go somewhere, you don't get immediate service. Blood pressure goes up. Face starts getting red. Maybe I'm describing myself. We want instant gratification. What made America great? Deferred gratification. Right? But this was a major, major incident. Do we dare say bungle? Multiple crashes. People couldn't get from one part of the Treasure Valley to another. Well, this happens in most interstates where we just have one main artery. What's the backup? And is it time to invest some money in a backup alternative? Or perhaps start looking at trucks with their very precious cargo given a special lane. And that we have the people in their little 4-cylinder motor scooters be warned, quit cutting off the trucks. Quit acting irresponsibly when it comes to zipping in and out of traffic. That's a major topic. Usually we have Lars Larson on. He apologized. He's traveling to some secure, undisclosed location at this time. We'll get him on later in the week, but that means we have more time for ourselves at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. See, these are bread and butter issues that the politicians don't talk about. You know, what about an alternative? Well, nope, it's always been that way. Get ready to be stuck in traffic, everybody. What if you have livestock? What if somebody's pregnant? What if there's a medical emergency? You're just out of luck? Tess, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller in the morning. Good morning, Tess.
Good morning. Oh, I can tell you, excuse me, that it was interesting. So I was on the westbound lane. I know there were different accidents that day on the interstate. And I was on the westbound lane about a half a mile from the dump truck that tipped over. And you did sit a while, but since I was headed north, headed home, I always take a lot of water with me and snacks and magazine for just exactly that happening. Now, it'd be nice for the trucks to have their own lanes, because the only thing that you could do was you could either make an illegal turn, go down to the steep medium and risk tipping your vehicle over, which some people were panicking and doing, or if you knew about the accident ahead of time, take one of the frontage roads. So I would love to see a separate lane for the truckers. And I don't know exactly what happened. All I saw was the dump truck on its side. I read the article saying that he overcorrected when he went off the road. And that actually is something that you see when you drive the interstate a lot. You see that a lot. And between Meridian and Nampa, what you see is there a group of, I guess you'd call them racy racers, that run the interstate like the Indy 500. And I would love to see the state troopers doing that. Now, the nice thing is that Boise PD is going to be running for the next 30 days. It's a distracted and aggressive driving program where they're looking for you if you're texting or you're on your cell phone or you're driving aggressively. So give them a big pat on the back and make sure you're not yakking.
Right. Here's the other issue, though. And, we have a lot of people that drive the truck that listen to this program. Do we have the adequate roads for the trucks? Like, I'm going down back roads, and God bless the truck drivers, because they're going through on these narrow, windy, 2-lane roads to build the homes, to build the businesses. And I'm thinking, these roads weren't made for these big trucks. It's not the big trucks' problem or fault, but I'm thinking, where is the czar of transportation in the state of Idaho? What was it? I believe Jeff Saylor was his name, who took over the Department of Commerce and reinvigorated, made it a great Department of Commerce, really helped save Idaho. Where is that in transportation? Or do our elected officials that, are on our dime going, sorry that happened, everybody. Good luck next time.
Well, the former governor wanted to build a new highway system up through Indian Valley and to go into the back way there into those resort areas and McCall. And maybe that's not a bad idea. I don't know if the community would want that or not. But certainly something has to be done.
Well, here is where the action is. And with all due respect to everybody that goes to McCall and has a great time, or to Lewiston or wherever, or to the mayor of New Meadows, Tea Party Bob, this is where the action is in this state. So based on what happened last week, isn't it time that the state takes a look at revising our whole way of getting from one part of the Treasure Valley to the other?
There is, but unfortunately, what happens with that is that you have a lot of farm and ranch areas that are in the vicinities where they need to do those, and so what you get is they're going in and they're going to have to talk to them and talk about taking part of their land away.
Well, they're called subdivisions now.
Well, that's true also, but the only other thing you can consider is what is the impact of these enormous apartment building complexes that have hundreds and hundreds of people in them. I'm not sure why planning and zoning is allowing that type of building to occur now.
Well, here's a quote from Channel 7, and this is something that we should not be proud of. Looks like California around here. Residents scramble to deal with crashes while commuters wait.
How true.
Yeah, 6 hours. That's how long it took to clear the massive dump truck accident on westbound 84 on Friday. So welcome to California, everybody.
Yep.
Maybe Star could be the Beverly Hills of the new California here in Idaho. All right, Tess. Kind of whisked her away on that one. Jerry in Nampa with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
Now, you notice I didn't blame the truckers this time.
You didn't blame the truckers this time. I'm proud of you. Hey, I just remember as a kid when I took my driving test when I was 15 years old, which was quite a long time ago, back when they had you whip to get the horses going.
Right. Good times.
Yeah, exactly. You remember those days.
Yes, sir.
Hey, one of the biggest things that my instructor always talked about was giving room to the truck drivers. I don't think that necessarily a special lane for us. I'm driving down I-84 right now in Big Blue and, traffic's going slow. I'm in the right lane where I should be. But, it's just, I don't think they're teaching anymore, the value of staying away from the truck. Giving us a little bit of room. You're talking about being on the 2-lane roads. When I come up to a 4-way intersection, I need a lot of room to make those turns, especially if I'm turning right. And it's funny when I start to swing way out and make a turn, people just look at me like I'm an idiot and have no idea what I'm doing.
No, I will tell you this. I've been watching you people for quite some time, and it's crazy at stoplights. And, again, we're impacted by where we live. I'm driving down Star Road. I'm driving down Chinden. and you have these little small stoplights, and you've got these big trucks, and finally people figure out, I better back up. Well, then it's too late. And I saw one guy just literally have to almost drive into the Maverick just so he could take a right-hand turn. No fault of his own. It was just a big truck.
Yes, yeah, it takes a lot of room to get these things around. And like I said, I don't think that anymore people are getting the lesson and the teaching of that, hey, when you see a big truck, give them some room. It was a big thing when I went through class. We're getting my driver's license. Hey, watch out for the truck.
Well, welcome to California, Jerry.
Yes, sir. It's like California around here.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate you listening, and we thank you for your generous donation, sir.
Thank you, Kevin. We'll see you later.
All right. Take care. Our great friend Jerry joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning, taking your calls about traffic congestion, and it looks like California around here, everybody. Let's go to Doug in Mountain Home. Doug, again, thank you for your contributions to the Boise Rescue Mission. Good morning.
Good morning. Kevin, I've been around here since the 70s. I can remember driving down 44 State Street over there by Veterans Way across there on a weekend, and literally in the morning, and literally they had them orange barrels up because they were working. Nobody was working at times on a weekend, but the orange barrels were up. And I poloed through them. There was no traffic, but this was in the 70s. This place has outgrown itself, just especially in the last 5-6 years, 2-3 years. And I'm with you, Kevin. Where's the Wizards of Oz with this traffic stuff? I've been watching it with this Interstate 80 out here. It's like, are they the engineers? Are they brain dead? They can't look into the future a little bit, and and see that, hey man, we got problems coming up. We need to make some freaking alternative routes here and places to get off. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting to drive down there. I can't stand going down there, Kevin. And you think you get down there in it, and then you think, well, I don't keep track of time, but you can sure tell what time it is. At noon, everybody leaves wherever they're working and goes to have lunch, and it's just as bad as it was in the morning or at 5 o'clock at noon. You get what I'm saying?
Indeed.
Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know what the solution is. It's too bad we couldn't have put a freaking fence around this place and went, stay out. So, I don't know.
I love it. But, thank you, Doug.
Yep. Talk to you later.
All right. 580-5436. 580-KIDO. We go to R&R. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller in the morning.
Hey, my talking point sort of along that same line, but it's just getting way too hot to let our dogs climb in the car and go anywhere with us if we're going to leave the car for more than like 5 minutes. But I've got a 12-year-old wolf crossed with a Norwegian elk hound, and it just rolls his eyes back in his head to be able to jump in the car, but it's just getting too hot. It's going to be 91 this week, so I just help people understand no matter how much we love our dogs, we got to leave them home when it gets hot like this.
And don't leave them in the back of a pickup truck because it's hot and dangerous.
Oh man, we can. When you become lieutenant governor, Kevin, you'd have to pass a law. People and their dogs on the back of the flatbed pickup trucks or just a regular pickup truck. It's just nuts. And lastly, President Trump, I opened the paper yesterday on the front page, and there was this, like a fourth grade article about President Trump's policy on blah, 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 and how it was causing us to get in fights with foreign countries. Then there wasn't anything in that article other than the fact that he's standing up for tariffs and protecting the border, and I just think President Trump's doing an amazing job. He was a billionaire to start, and why the man wanted to bring on that much guile upon himself. He's going to go down in history as one of the greatest presidents of all time.
A great American.
Thank
R&R,
you, sir.
God bless. More coming up next. Are you satisfied with the state of transportation in the Treasure Valley? 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Taking your calls about traffic. Rich in Nampa, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, Kevin, good morning.
Hey, Rich.
So you remember several years ago now when they redid the Curtis Road from the freeway down to Garden City? It was one lane each direction. Beautiful landscaping on each side. I drove through there with my wife when they first opened it, and I'm all, this is ridiculous. Who engineered this and said we can have 2 lanes of traffic going each direction, funnel down to 1, and then open back up to 2? This is not going to work. Well, guess what they ended up doing a couple years later? They had to spend all the money to tear it out again, redo the landscaping, and widen the road. So it's 2 directions each way now it is. Secondly, the marketplace exit. When they first did that marketplace exit over here in Nampa, it was very hard to get off. If you were going from Boise to Caldwell, it was very hard to get off the freeway and make that turn to head over to Karcher Road.
Sure.
Again, you look at that and you go, let's have a little foresight into the future with the traffic. Well, guess what? They've taken one complete off-ramp out, abandoned it, spent all the money to tear it out and rebuild it. So, yeah, who are these people? Who are these engineers? I'm good for you. You went to college. You got yourself a degree. Whatever happened to common sense?
Now, the marketplace exit has really puzzled me on that. Yeah, it wasn't easy before, but to take away an entire exit and then you have to do the loop-to-loop and everything else, it doesn't make sense.
Sure. Why did they not leave that exit there and just come in the other way, add that as an option?
Right.
That puzzles me too.
Right, and the cost of getting rid of the exit and then building the new one. Yeah, I'm with you. And here's the thing, Rich. No one calls these people out. They just say, they rely on the good folks of Idaho just to take the incompetence.
Yeah. And I own a small business, so I'm constantly driving through the valley with my pickup. I have a fairly long trailer, and I either have a skid steer on it or a mini excavator. And you'll be going down the freeway, and I'm trying to drive careful because I do not brake rapidly. But in front of me, because they want to get over, they need to get here, and it drives me nuts. So I have friends that drive semis. I can't imagine how frustrating it is for these guys to try to maneuver.
No, I agree.
Cutting them off and not understanding. And we've done it to ourselves with this growth that we have and that we've allowed. We're putting more semis on the road. We're doing that. Because of our growth, we're requesting all this extra traffic on the road. And then you look at the conditions of our roads, and they're deteriorating because, those guys are heavy. But because of our growth, we're the ones requesting, we need you guys to drive on the road more. Frustrating.
Where's the leadership? That's what I'd like to know.
That's what we need. We need somebody in the state. And it's expensive. It's expensive to build a highway or widen a highway. But why do we continually just widen it to what we need today? Boise and the Treasure Valley is constantly being named as a top place to raise a family, top place to live, top place to start a business. So can we not look and go, this place is going to continue to blow up with population? I mean, we think it's bad now. It's going to get worse. And if we don't do something about our infrastructure, it's going to get ridiculously worse.
Well, as they said in that Channel 7 story, welcome to California.
Yeah. And I don't begrudge anybody for wanting to move here. It's a beautiful place. I grew up here. I love living here. And I welcome people that want to come, but leave your politics where you came from.
Rich, thank you. Good luck, and keep driving that small business train, brother. We appreciate you.
Yep, I love it. All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. More of your comments next. First, Speaking of transportation, let's get you to work safely and on time. KIDO Talk Radio, traffic and weather together. Good morning, Dave. KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM is your home for Fox News on the radio in the Treasure Valley. Eben Brown joins us now. Eben, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, this is a fun story that a lot of people probably will be talking about for quite some time. The International Space Station open to private individuals, open to select folks, and possibly even business and the entertainment industry.
Well, yes. The main thing is NASA will open its portion of the International Space Station up to tourists. They've had tourists on the ISS before. Russia has flown people up there who were willing to pay the price. I think they had 7 people total who went. One of them, Charles Simonyi, who is one of the co-founders of Microsoft, went twice, which goes to show how much money he has. But it is something new for NASA and the American commercial sector. But here's the deal: you have to pay round trip for passage aboard either a SpaceX or Boeing spacecraft that will be going there and coming back, and that's going to cost you about $50 million. And then you have to pay for your lodging, your room and board up there on the space station. Upward, I think you can stay as long as 30 days, and it's $35,000 a night.
Right, and people were joking they're not going to accept Capital One points or anything like that. You can't use
exactly. And I would warn you against taking the sodas out of the fridge in the room because there's a markup on it and all that stuff, right? Yeah, we've heard all the jokes.
Right, and
don't steal the towels or the bathrobe, that kind of thing.
Right. Pretty meticulous how NASA has the costs broken down for this, and apparently, Eben, they're looking at commercial companies adding, I don't know, where pods or whatever you call those sections to the space station so they can use those for movies or business or what have you?
Well, there's ways to add more real estate essentially up there, and the part of this consideration is to not just have people take vacations up there, because very few people might be able to do that. It's a very expensive endeavor. But think about it: if we could film a movie like we did with Apollo 13 or Gravity, one of those types of films, and actually shoot it in space. To have certain segments of it actually shot in space. That would be pretty amazing. Be very expensive for the movie studios, but they might be willing to go for it to get a couple days worth of shooting done up there. Think about it. What if those Tony Stark Avengers Endgame segments were shot actually in space when he was in space, right? I don't know if that was a spoiler alert for anyone, but that would look pretty amazing on film, and a company like Disney Marvel might actually just have the dough to do it. So, but it's still quite expensive. So the average person will probably still not have access to space.
Eben, any word on the life of the International Space Station?
It's still flying. It's going to keep flying. That's the best I can tell you. It is, I think, currently funded for another few years. It could possibly keep going, and I think that it will be going. One of the reasons for opening this up to the private sector, commercial sector, if you will, is to provide some funding for it as NASA begins to look towards things like building its lunar gateway and its eventual missions to Mars. There's going to be a need to fund the space station, and by subletting it, if you will, either in whole or in part or in pieces or at a daily rate to private persons who are looking to come visit or to commercial entities that might want to use it, is a way to help keep it going beyond, I think it's 2024. So it's a wonderfully equipped facility. It's in great physical shape. It's a marvel of human achievement. And this is a way to keep it flying even longer than what we currently have it scheduled for. And I think it's a great opportunity to do so. I mean, there's no functional reason to end its life. There would only be economic reasons, and this might be a way to stave off the economic reason.
Eben Brown, we appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You got it.
Well, Eben appeared to be a little happy this time. Let's go to Tea Party Bob, the new mayor of New Meadows, Idaho, on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Miller. I've been listening to you all morning. Another great show. Having a lot of fun.
Oh.
You know what? I have to tell you, on this road congestion, I was fortunate when that sand truck tipped over. I had an opportunity to exit at Eagle Road and use Franklin Road, the 10-mile entrance, to avoid the mess. The real problem is that the ancillary roads that are available are inadequate to handle any additional traffic flow up 84's block. And much of this is due to inadequate impact fees that we charge developers for road improvement. You know, Treasure Valley residents really have no alternatives when you think about going east-west. You have to use 84. We spent enough money. We haven't spent enough money on the roads for the growth that's taken place in the Treasure Valley for many years. And as I have said for years, we need to change the funding of the roads to the general fund money to finance the upgrades for alternative routes of transportation along with higher impact fees if you want to relieve the congestion. You only have to take a look at Chinden on any given morning or night at rush hour. I mean, it has become a nightmare. I have to say, my move to New Meadows has been somewhat gratifying as I avoid the congestion in the valley. But the answer to our problems is not just roads. It's where we have the jobs that the people need to make a living. You know, many of the rural areas of Idaho are great to live in, but we do not have the high-speed internet that puts restrictions basically on businesses that can settle in the area. The other problem is that we've abandoned our real job growth opportunities by not exploiting our natural resources in these rural areas in the mining and forest products arena. But that's a function of restrictions by the federal laws of the EPA and U.S. Forest Service, who would like everyone to live in places like the Treasure Valley. We need to start using our natural resources to create better paying jobs and stop hindering them with logging restrictions and ridiculous EPA restrictions on mining. The feds are killing Idaho literally by letting it burn every summer. And
sure, let's go back to the infrastructure of the transportation system.
Mm-hmm.
Totally inadequate.
Oh, has been for years. I mean, if they couldn't see that coming, they had to be completely stupid. But they did see it coming. They just didn't want to stop the development. And they didn't want to charge the higher impact fees because most of the developers have all of the politicians wrapped around their little fingers. We've seen that year in and year out. That's not going to change.
Perhaps a leader will emerge that it will change.
One more quick note. Well, let's hope that happens soon. One more quick note.
Some people say that it's you.
I don't know. Maybe somebody else. A quick note is something you said earlier about CBD oil.
Yes.
You said Governor Libble is waiting for the federal government to approve CBD oil.
Federal regulation. It was, again, a debate comment that was 2 years ago.
I remember it very vividly. If that is the case, why is he against growing of hemp, which was approved by the federal government? You can't have it both ways.
I believe that he was in favor of the hemp, but was concerned that law enforcement was not consulted. And as you know, little buddy, we broke that issue here on this program.
I remember that. But I will tell you, by sometime next year, I bet we're going to be growing hemp in Idaho.
And I bet it won't be as lucrative as everybody promised it to be.
But nothing is. It's just like the congestion. It gets worse every year. It's just like people. They don't make as much money every year as they made the year before for some reason. Isn't that the case with you and me?
No comment. I plead the fifth.
Kevin, I hope you have
some
a
of us do
day.
Some of us do it for the love of the game.
I do it just for the fun of it.
Yep.
I hope you have a great day today. And thank God we have somebody like you out there putting out all of this information.
God bless you, my friend.
Take care.
Take care. Let's go to Pro-Life, who joins us now. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Hello, Pro-Life.
Yeah, hello.
It's a big week for you, isn't it?
What's that?
It's a very big week for you. And the The Priders will be here on Saturday, and you'll be at the parade.
Yeah.
You got your days mixed up.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll be down there Saturday.
You'll be down there.
I talked to Arvell, and he's going to go too. But
you, Arvell, and the Gays.
Yep. And we might find somebody else with a little bit of courage. But anyway, the growth that's happening here in the Treasure Valley, the people that are coming here are actually better than our own people. I've talked to a lot of them. We have a strawberry farm out here, and they come and you pick strawberries, and I get to talking to them. They are more conservative than our people. They're fleeing California and, Oregon and Washington and places that are gone nuts.
I disagree with you. I say most of them are libs.
No. You're totally wrong
The
about
libs
that.
are coming in, and they can't drive, and they don't care.
No, we're getting better people than our natives. They're more politically conservative, more morally conservative. I talk to them. And but anyway, they were commenting about somebody was commenting about the Yemen Arabic war over there, and you don't hear anything in the news about any of it. And I'd like to know more about it.
I'd like to know more about the topic we're talking about, which is transportation.
Yeah, okay, let's go back to that.
Let's stick to the topic.
If you want to fund transportation, what you do is you put a sales tax on every auto parts, tires, everything. All that money having to do with vehicles doesn't go to the general fund. It goes to a special transportation fund. And they've never done that. That's the solution to it.
Well, you could say that the gas tax should go actually to the transportation fund and not to the general fund. That's how we balance the budget. That's how most states balance the budget. And we didn't vote for it, but the legislature in the middle of the night voted to raise the gas tax years ago.
Yeah. Well, maybe you do have to raise the gas tax, but everything having to do with transportation needs to go to transportation, every tax. And they need to have, then they need to go and say, like on the south side of the valley, they need to start buying right-of-ways and condemning land so that they can put another freeway down there. Or up here on the north side on the hills. But, all the environmentalists complain about that.
Well, what about an outer loop?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, an outer loop. You can't have just one highway down the middle. That's not going to work. Because we're going to be big, like the Front Range, the Wasatch Front, Portland. We're going to get that big pretty fast.
The legendary Wasatch Front. I hear about it all the time.
Yep, I used to live there. So, but anyway, no, and then we need to bring moral people here. That's why people are moving here. They're not moving here so they can get marijuana, because we're not going to let it happen.
We're not going to let it happen. We're going to stop the libs at their tracks.
Right. So libs aren't moving here. It's the people that are straight. That's what I'm saying. They don't kill their babies, and they're straight about sexual stuff.
Well, tell that to the Pride Parade. I hear they're looking for you already. I've got a lot of sources in the rainbow community, and they always look for you.
Tell them I'm old and weak so they can beat me up.
Thank you, pro-life. Brian in Nampa, good morning, sir. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, Kevin, take a few breaths.
Boy, what was that about? Yeah.
It just depends on where you live. If you live in Boise, they're more liberal. If you live out in Emmett, that area, that's where I met him first. Yeah, he's right. They are more conservative. But it just depends on where you live. Like I live out in Nampa. It's a mix. Some of them, most of them I've met are more pro-gun. But it depends on where they're moving to. They kind of go where they are accustomed to. If you're anti-Second Amendment, you're more big city, you have a tendency to move more towards that type of environment. If you're more pro-2 and an outdoors person, you have a tendency to stay out of town. So it's a mix. Anyway, the roads thing. I agree. Idaho needs to do better on their roads, but that's a double-edged sword. You build a better road, more are going to come. So which do you want?
Me, I like the idea of building the wall.
Yeah, well, that ain't.
And really, it comes down to you get what you pay for, whether you put, the idea of an outer loop. Look, as we're finding out with our taxes going up, your house value goes up. You got to pay more in taxes. More people come in. You got to build more roads.
And people are going to flood here, Kevin. I hate to tell everybody this. They are. This is one of the last safe, conservative places on the planet. I mean, Oregon fell, Washington fell, California fell. This is one of the last places. And people are going to run here for safety in droves. And we know it. It's going to happen.
The challenge, though, Brian, is are we going to be like Boise with the libs, or are we going to be like the rest of Idaho?
Well, I grew up in the rest of Idaho, like eastern Idaho.
Sure.
And I think Boise will expand and the libs will expand, but they're surrounded. I mean, they come here because they like the outdoors, and they're still libs, and they want to go have their outdoor fun, and they want to be free the way they believe freedom is. I don't agree with their freedom, but that's okay. But they're going to expand, and we'll surround them. And people like me, if they expand out to Nampa, will move further out.
I hear they're already creeping into Meridian.
Yeah, they are.
The libs. Yeah, the libs are here.
And the marijuana thing, Kevin, I hate to stir the pot, but
you hate when you stir the pot too.
There has been multiple cases brought up into court where people that have had legal, in their state to smoke pot, a license to do it, have not been allowed to purchase firearms or ammo. And it's been brought up into the higher courts, and the federal government upholds it. So, dude, I'm not a hater on the pot people. I don't agree with it. I believe it's a sin, just like like swearing's a sin, and I do that occasionally. But if you smoke pot, you're risking the federal government coming after you if you have a gun. So just be wary of it. I've never smoked pot, Kevin, so I don't really know what it does to you, and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon.
Me neither.
So have a good day, Kevin.
You too. God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Dave in Nampa with Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dave.
Morning, Kevin. How you doing today?
Living the dream, brother, and you?
The same. Hey, so I was a paramedic for Canyon County for several years, and I saw what it was like to not have the budget and the infrastructure stuff that we needed, and so after some burnout, blah blah blah, I moved on, and I'm actually a loan officer now for a mortgage company. And so I frequently am talking to people that are coming here from out of state, and I'm actually very pleased to report that I have yet, in the probably, 3 or 4 dozen people that I've talked to in the last year or two that are coming from out of state, I have yet to talk to anybody who says, yep, nope, I'm a lib, I'm coming to turn your state blue. I mean, I don't doubt that they're coming. I mean, we know they are.
Sure.
But I'm very happy to. It's amazing too, man. Every time I start talking to somebody from out of state,
right,
typically from California, they do say, they're like, man, I got guns. I'm pro Second Amendment. I love the outdoors. I want to hunt. I want to do all these things that I can't do in California. So I don't know, man. It's been I'm sure we're getting some of the lefties too, but out of all the ones I've talked to, I have yet to talk to one that's like, yeah, no, I'm blue. I'm coming to turn your state blue. So I don't know.
Well, Dave, I appreciate it. I got to run, but here's another one. When would a lib ever self-report?
Dude, that's probably a good point. That's probably a valid point.
Thank you, Dave. You have a great day, sir.
Thanks, Kevin. You too.
Thank you. We're going to talk about that next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.